And that was Bernie Sanders declaring victory last night at a rally in Wisconsin. The senator won 3 landslide victories last night out west. In Washington state, he had a decisive, nearly 50-point win. In Alaska, the margin was even bigger. He scored over 80% of the vote. And in Hawaii, another blowout. But Sanders remains far behind in the total delegate count, trailing Hillary Clinton by over 700 delegates. Senator Sanders joins me right now. Senator Sanders, congratulations. That was a big night.
Thank you very much.
So you won big out there in those 3 states. You're still way behind in the delegate count. But does that, what does this mean for the race? Does this mean you are absolutely going through to the end?
Jonathan, what it means is we won 3 landslides last night. We won 6 out of 7 contests in the last 11 days. We've cut Secretary Clinton's lead by a third during that period of time. A national poll just came out that had us 1 point ahead of Secretary Clinton when we started 60 points behind. In every national and state poll that I have seen, virtually every one has us defeating Donald Trump. CNN had us defeating him by 20 points. Clearly, we have the momentum. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to end up with more pledged delegates than Secretary Clinton. And then I think the superdelegates are going to have to make a very difficult decision. And that is, if a candidate wins in a state by 40 or 50 points, who are you going to give your vote to? And second of all, which candidate is better positioned to defeat Trump or any of the other Republican candidates? I think a lot of the superdelegates are going to conclude that it's Bernie Sanders.
But you still need 73% of the delegates going forward, which is a huge...
No, we don't. No. Well, no, I don't accept that. That is not the case. You're assuming that every superdelegate who now supports Secretary Clinton will stay with her. You're not taking into consideration the fact there are hundreds of delegates, superdelegates who have not yet made a decision. We think we can win many of them. And what we showed yesterday is, in fact, the momentum is with us. We think we're going to do well in Wisconsin. We think we got a real shot in New York. And then we go out to California. You go out to Oregon. That's the most progressive part of America. We think we're going to do very well there. So I will not deny for 1 second that we still remain the underdogs. But we have come a long, long way. You will have to concede in the last 10 months. We do have a path toward victory.
You've heard Democrats saying it's time for you to lay off Senator Clinton, Secretary Clinton, keep this positive now, stop the attacks on her Wall Street ties, her super PAC, all of that. Are you going to start laying off, or are you going to, put the pedal to the metal here?
We've just won 6 out of the last 7 contests. We have the momentum. We won 3 landslide victories yesterday, and the reason we're doing well is that we are talking about the real issues facing the American people. And campaign finance is one of them. We have raised now $6 million individual campaign contributions, averaging $27 apiece. That's unprecedented in American political history. Secretary Clinton has super PACs. She has raised some $15 million at least from Wall Street, money from the fossil fuel industry and the drug companies. Do I think the American people need to know that? Is that an important issue? I think it is. Our votes on the war. I voted against the war in Iraq. She voted for the war in Iraq. That's an important issue. I am opposed to continuation of fracking. She supports fracking. Those are important issues. That's what a campaign is about. I do not run negative ads. But clearly contrasting my position with Secretary Clinton's is what a campaign is supposed to be about.
So you said in an interview this week that she suggested she may not be liberal enough to be in your cabinet. So let me ask you now, after these wins, is she liberal enough to be your running mate? Would you consider her?
That's speculation. Hillary Clinton is a person who has I have enormous respect for, has a very distinguished career. We're not into speculation right now. The reason, Jonathan, we are doing so well is we are talking about not speculation, but the issues impacting the American middle class, grotesque levels of income and wealth inequality, the decline of the American middle class, the fact that millions of kids are graduating college deeply in debt, the reality that climate change is a global crisis that we have got to deal with and have to take on the fossil fuel industry. Those are the issues that I'm dealing with, not speculating at this point who my vice presidential nominee would be.
So, Senator Sanders, We saw a situation this week where an ISIS leader was taken out by American ground troops, special forces on the ground in Syria. You are firmly opposed to boots on the ground. Was that something that raised concerns for you?
No, that's not quite accurate. What I have said is, in general, I support what President Obama is doing. Of course, I am opposed to the United States getting involved in perpetual warfare in the Middle East. I think what the president is trying to do is to destroy ISIS, putting together the kind of coalition that we need. The Muslim troops have got to do the hard work. The United States should have special forces there. We should be there for air support and air attacks. We should be training the troops. And the good news, as you know, is that ISIS now militarily, in a significant way, is in retreat. And they are losing some 30–40% of the ground that they have controlled in Iraq over the last year. We got to keep that up. Okay. And obviously, we got to do everything we can to prevent a terrorist attack against us or our allies.
All right, Senator Sanders, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jonathan.